Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, or great afternoon, I should say. Welcome back to Chai Together. I am your host and founder, Pratibha Day. Today, you are tuning in for your cup of courage, hope, and imagination. And I am here with Mrs. Lisa Regan today. And I feel such a calming, like spiritual vibration from you. Do you feel it as well?
Absolutely. When we first met in Power Voice,
Yeah,
it's been a hot minute,
I
right?
know. It's been 1 year.
Your light just shines so brightly, and
Wow.
and there was just such a resonance, Pratibha, that you're just like a soul sister.
Wow. I really like that. Thank you. I feel emotional, like looking at your eyes already.
Mm.
Thanks for saying that. And it's interesting because like we don't get along with everybody. Like I'm sure you also don't get along with everybody, but it's like the right people will always understand you and know that you're true, that you're a good human. That's how I
Right.
feel. Hmm.
And, you know, throughout the course of life, because I've been on the planet a little bit longer than you have,
Hmm.
with all of that, what I've really embraced is we're not designed to get along with everyone. We're just, light interacting with other light workers, and we have the opportunity to let others that we really don't resonate with go on their own way.
I like that. I like that.
Honor them and say, no thanks.
I like that. No thanks to everything else. Do you really just say no thanks?
Uh, Sometimes I say it out loud,
Hmm.
other times I just internally go, yeah, no thanks.
Hmm. Assert your boundaries. And I want to say, so on this platform, we showcase courage, hope, and imagination. And, we have our mug here. And I want to thank you for donating, like passing forward a mug to someone else. I forget who it was that you gave your mug to. I think it was Laura Walsh. I think it was Laura. But
Mhm.
that was really nice of you to do, for people who wanted to purchase but weren't able to purchase at the time, especially during COVID. I think that was a really nice gesture of you to do.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I really love the whole energy of paying it forward.
Hmm.
It helps me remain in the vibration of abundance.
Hmm.
And I have so much need to, as we all got to support one another as we're becoming what we really want to be here to do.
Hmm.
Financially, it's a revenue stream.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was a beautiful way to pass revenue on, share, and I have a lot of those at
I like
home.
that.
So,
I'm going to ask you for one favor, though. Are you able to speak up a little
oh,
bit?
yes,
That's better. It was so calming. But yeah, like this is better when you're speaking up a little bit. Thank you for that.
thanks for asking. I do
Yeah.
get quiet.
Yeah. But it's good that I'm pointing it out early on. So I like that.
Right.
So how are you feeling today?
I am feeling inspired today.
Wow.
How
Mm.
are you feeling?
I feel great. I feel like a lot of things are, coming into place through action. And I always enjoy, having you on, having other guests on, and hearing just having that social interaction with people. So, a lot of people had isolation or, some kind of depression and things like that. Some people may have. But I didn't encounter that because I built this community. I feel like I always am so social. So, I'm glad that I had that support group. Otherwise, people don't have an outlet. So this is my outlet. So I find that to be healthy.
It's such an amazing way that we can create community.
Hmm.
Uh, on a personal note, my mom she's not involved in social media at all.
Mhm.
And during the height of COVID, she isolated.
Wow.
And other than immediate people, and
Mhm.
I would stay 6 feet away from her, wear my mask. I would call Les Brown, when we were initially in the height of things,
Mhm.
and having really strong boundaries, because when you're compromised and not knowing exactly how contagious the virus really was, so much information, accurate or inaccurate, it
Mhm.
was a lot of fear. So my heart was so saddened by individuals that couldn't easily connect in community. And
Mhm.
they were physically, emotionally, mentally isolated,
Mhm.
other than, like, yay for the phone, right? She still has a landline.
Yeah. Wow.
And the individuals, I knew a lot that were either isolated in nursing homes or assisted living, who are basically called, you're convalescing. You're not capable of doing at least 2 out of 6 activities of daily living in those type of institutions.
Mhm.
And to be fully isolated, oh my God.
How is she now?
Oh, she's doing so much better. She is concerned about the Delta variant.
Mhm.
And so she's setting clear boundaries
Mm.
for people in her space.
Mhm.
But she is socializing more so
Great.
than last year.
We need that because honestly, the mental health can deplete, when you're not social because we're supposed to interact with others. We didn't come here to be by ourselves, even though we come in the world naked and we leave naked. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I want to ask you, tell us more. Where would you like to start your journey? Do you want to start from your childhood and moving forward?
Well, in free flow, and what's important when it comes to community and mental well-being
Mhm.
is somewhat like a ball of yarn.
Mhm.
I look at, oops,
It's okay.
are we all right?
Yeah, you're okay.
I cannot speak without my hands.
It's okay.
So as long as I think my
Just
face,
yeah, you're good now.
oh,
Mhm.
good. Right. So
Mhm.
technology, equipment, thank you for your laughter. 'Cause,
Yeah, it's funny.
well, I look at my life in some respects
Mhm.
as a ball of yarn, and I just peel back a strand at a time. I
Wow.
love knitting. I haven't done any actual knitting for a while.
Wow.
My brother is still waiting for his Afghan.
Mm,
It's been, oh, more than like 15 years, but I finished my daughter's.
what is it called?
An Afghan
Afghan?
blanket.
I may have heard of it before.
Oh, so knitting was something my great grandmother did,
Mm,
and she was a phenomenal baker.
wow.
In her culture, they did, it's called a sweet nut roll, somewhat
Mhm.
like baklava,
Mm.
but we call it pavatitsa.
I don't like baklava.
So you really have to like honey and nuts and
Yeah.
sweets. But growing up, Nana would share how she baked and what she made.
Oh, blanket.
And I learned so much. And she transitioned on, wow, might have been in 7th grade.
Oh, wow. Very long ago.
Right. It was a while back. And, but had I not been with her to learn making a traditional family Christmas, Easter nut roll,
Mm-hmm.
I would not have been able to pass that tradition down to my daughter, and then she can pass it down to her children, my grandchildren. Some
Yeah.
of them love to bake,
Mm-hmm.
and to make povatizza, it's an all day. It becomes an all day event because the dough has to rise,
Mm.
and you have to treat it very gently, and you can't rush it. And I look at that as part of our coming into really our authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
It's really critical to be gentle with yourself
Mm-hmm.
and with others. There's, until you walk a mile in someone's moccasins, you really don't know what they're experiencing and what is going on. And by going back to my childhood with Nana, and anytime she was baking or making Sunday dinner, it was a pinch of that and a handful of something. So
Mm.
a lot of things were not measured to the T. And that really resonated with me because it's a pinch of this and a handful of that.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the alchemy to, wow, that really turned out. But if it didn't turn out, like sometimes the dough, I rushed it too much.
Mm-hmm.
It's more like stew, okay? I can't bake bread,
Mm.
just a regular loaf of bread, without it being hard on the outside and gooey on the inside. But I can sure do povatizza. I don't have a clue why.
I like that. I wish I knew what that was. I don't, but these are great life lessons you're talking about, just from the it's like ingredients of life, you know, with baking. It teaches you life skills, right?
It really does.
Mm-hmm.
And we learn so much in our family environment,
Mm-hmm.
either that's supporting or not supporting. We actually learn what we like and what we don't like,
Mm-hmm.
what we want to bring forward or what we want to leave behind.
Wow.
Because if we have one too much that we're bringing forward that's not supporting us, I have always this visual of a gunny sack.
Mm.
And when you pick up something and you hold on to it that is keeping you stuck or basically unhappy and miserable,
Mm-hmm.
and you stick the gunny sack over your back and you add that rock, and
Mm.
then you have another really crappy experience, and then you add that rock. Well, you become so weighted down with so many rocks on your back that you can't
I like
move.
that. Yeah.
And I call it, the term I've been thinking of lately is self-inflicted misery,
Wow.
and how frequently we unconsciously create self-inflicted misery. So I'm a huge coffee drinker. I
Mm.
really enjoy tea, even dirty chai. I tell
Mm.
the gals up at our local coffee shop.
Yeah, I have tasted it, but it's the I don't know the origin of dirty chai, but it's the American version. It's not, like the Asian chai, because chai, is in China, Japan, it's spread all over. So, but every country has a different version, But I know what you're talking about. But I always taste. I don't know. Have you always tasted like the cinnamon in it, like in the iced drinks? Like, does it come into your mouth? Right? That's dirty chai, I think.
Well, it's also they add a shot of espresso.
Yeah, it's different.
It is. And it's a lot of people like to drink it that way here.
Mhm.
Uh, I would really like to try authentic chai.
Mhm.
I'm not so sure in my area if we have authentic chai or not, to tell you the truth.
Do you have an Indian restaurant or an Indian store?
No,
No? And I wanna tell the viewers that you're in Montana, correct? Yeah.
correct.
How is it there? You like
Well,
it there?
so I live in a community of around 36,000 people.
Oh, wow.
It's Butte, Butte. Most people who do not live here either call it Butte or Butte.
Mhm.
It's really important though that we be known as Butte.
Mhm. It was funny because I
Yeah.
wanna let the viewers know, I was just telling you yesterday, regarding a movie I saw yesterday, The Unfinished Line, and, the daughter was like, "Mom, look, there's a Butte, Montana," and she was like, "It's Butte." So they always joke about that. I think that's so funny. I always honestly, because when I migrated to the States, I had to learn English. So I always like was bullied and I used to not pronounce words right. Like I didn't know any better, about locations. So I always struggled with that as well. You just don't know how something's pronounced.
You don't. And it's especially when you're brand new to
Hmm.
a location and you just do the best you can. And
Mm,
hopefully someone is kind and says, over here, this is how we enunciate this particular word. And
mm,
English is a really hard language. I In high school I did Spanish and learned so much
hmm.
about origins of words. And I think it's just hard.
Hmm.
I find it amazing that you speak so eloquently
Oh,
and
thank you.
clearly. So,
Yes.
yay for you.
Yes. Sometimes I can hear my own accent or like, people who know me long enough, like they can hear that, but Indian accent. But thank you so much for that. And I do want to ask you, I know you joined Les's Power Voice Academy last year. Like what led you to do that?
What really led me to
Mm-hmm.
Les's Power Voice
Mm-hmm.
was to be able to get over my fear of being heard.
Oh, wow.
Just a very deep fear of speaking my ideas, sharing them out loud,
Wow.
and not being connected or attached to the outcome.
I like that. That's really
So
important. Like not having expectations, so you don't hold on to that. Wow.
it's empowering.
I
I
like that.
remember when you did your um,
Oh my.
the Power Voice Live, right? It's a little flashback for Tiva.
The summit?
Yeah, the summit.
Wow, yeah, I felt so liberated after. It was my first time because my first time on camera was through, when I did my 3-minute speech. I had never been on camera before like that. And then I started Chai Together. Otherwise, I never did this either before. Yeah.
And how has it been since then as you build your
Hmm.
community?
Hmm.
Have you been able to overcome your fears?
Yeah, it's so normalized. Like the other night, I posted a video at midnight. Like I felt called to speak. You know what I mean? So I came on here and I got on StreamYard at midnight and I was sharing an excerpt from my book that I'm writing and I posted it and I got great support, great feedback. But it was a calling inside of me that I have to share this now. Like the time is now. I have to, even though it was midnight, I was inspired. Like you were saying, you feel inspired today. I felt inspired by what I saw a social media article and I felt I need to raise my voice to say something regarding that. I have different views. So I'm someone who experienced it. It was regarding the abortion rights. And as someone who's had one, you know, I was just sharing from my book because that's what my book is about, to support people who've gone through that. And I was just sharing, not bashing anyone else, but just sharing my experience. I felt like a hunger to speak up. So that's what I do. And now I know that I feel a hunger to be online and share my life, in front of a camera.
It
Yeah.
is so courageous
Yeah.
and brave. Women's choice, as you just brought that to light, but actually people's choice. It is what you do or I do sincerely anyone else's business?
Hmm.
How do you, I'm sincerely asking you that
Hmm.
question. Is it your neighbor's business as to, as long as you did not harm them
Yeah.
or the choices you make? Because I've had two.
Yeah.
On purpose, I've had to make that decision in that moment.
Me too. Yeah. No, it's no one's business. It's no one's business. And the person who shared it, they took that post off. But, my belief and my friends' beliefs, who are all educators, is, and in psychology, you shouldn't share an opinion on something you have not experienced yourself. Talk about such a topic that is very heavy, in society when you haven't been through it, to talk about it as if it's a light topic, you know?
Yeah, it's not like, hey, I had Thai today,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's between you and your creator and your your
Hmm.
spirit. What
Yeah.
you need, and when the choices we make in that moment
Hmm.
are, we are doing the very best we can with what we
Hmm.
know and what we have.
Mhm.
Period.
Mhm.
And someone else's input, judgment, thoughts, opinions,
Mhm.
that's all they are.
Yeah.
And they're invited to cordially keep that to themselves.
I like how you just said that. They're invited to cordially keep that to themselves.
It's
Man,
about as nice as I can put it. I've got
yeah.
other words that I'm just not going to
Yeah.
have live.
Wow. Thanks for asking that. Yeah, I know as I go more public and share more, like I shared a reel and I had like a teenager account, leave a negative comment like, dang, double homicide. And I had to block the person because I have to ignore those things. Like, people don't know any better. People will comment whatever, but it does take a lot of courage for me to share about me choosing to be child free and share a part of my book that's about abortion. Like I can't just do it. I have to build up to do it throughout the day. Like, okay, now I'm ready to say it now. It does take courage, but that's why I have this platform, courage, hope, and imagination. If I'm not the epitome of what I stand for, then I don't really stand for it.
Right, right. You're not in alignment with what you want to be.
Yeah.
And it's just beautiful. So it brings it brings forth that inner fortitude and resilience.
Mm-hmm.
So you, as you put that out there and you want to be in alignment with that, you
Mm-hmm.
become that.
Mm-hmm. I really like this. So tell me more about Lighthouse LLC. Tell us what that is.
Oh, so Lighthouse Enterprises
Mm-hmm.
is a brand new venture that my daughter, Caitlin Graves, and
Mm.
we've just launched it. And it's glorious because we each have our own individual energy as to what we're about,
Mm.
but we really want to spark the light within people
Wow.
and assist in helping people become who they authentically are. It takes
Wow.
so much courage to unravel that yarn
Mm-hmm.
and become who you really want to be.
Do you think I'm already there?
Yay, girl!
It's a joke.
You are it right now,
I
right?
am very there. It's interesting because I am so there. I am so all about me. Like, not in a sense of like me, but as in I know myself so well that it's like, I don't take you know how Napoleon Hill said, opinions are cheap commodities. Unless you're someone who has what I want, or someone, like my coach or things like that, I don't listen to anyone unless you have the credentials and, the knowledge, because it's who you learn from is very important. Yeah.
Right. And who you surround yourself with.
Mhm.
And as there's, to me, a calling in my heart to
Mhm.
know thyself.
Wow.
It is an arduous,
Wow.
important journey for me.
Mhm.
And that's how I've been approaching my life since the Power Voice, is
Wow.
to truly begin quenching the thirst that I have had forever ago,
Wow.
to truly know my authentic self and not to be an imposter in my life,
Mhm.
to show up and be the light within.
I like that. Will you share, so you and your daughter, is this a program you're putting together? Is it coaching, or is it retreats? Like, what is it?
Well, so as it evolves, right now what we have is mentorship,
Mhm.
mentorship to build your
Mhm.
financial house, to build your spiritual house.
Wow, that's
To,
beautiful.
there, so we've outlined to also, just, I had to go back in my memory bank.
Mm.
Legacy letters. It's such a cool thing
Mm.
that while we are here, and to honor someone, because at some point we're going to transition on,
Mhm.
and to leave to those you really love and care about
Mhm.
a message in your from your heart.
Mhm.
So whether that's in letter form, video form, audio form, we're here to help mentor people how to do that.
Mm.
Because when you lose someone and there's questions as to, did they really intend for me to feel that way
Mm.
or not? And doing the merry-go-round over, well, was that really what they intended or did not intend?
Mm.
Because that comes pretty much with grief, right?
Yeah.
And so we also do mentorship in grief healing.
Wow. That is so important because, I didn't know about grief until after my abortion. When you go to the clinic, they give you the card, if you need to call a hotline, but I never knew about grief. Like, no one had told me I would have abortion grief, for example, for months. Yeah.
And that's one of the most important things to address as
Mhm.
you're going into making any conscious decision
Mhm.
like that. But even I look at those that, when you're pre-screened and if there's genetic code for cancer,
Mhm.
and I'm just thinking of Angelina Jolie, and you have the double mastectomy and the hysterectomy. Those are pieces that we end up, you got to grieve it and heal through it.
Wow. I
So,
didn't know she had that. You're talking regarding her breasts, right?
right,
Right.
she found out that, there was
Wow.
predisposition for some breast cancer, and then there was,
Wow.
anyhow, but we've got the, you lose a job, there's grief. You
Mhm.
lose a loved one, there's grief.
Yes.
You lose in our family, we have our four-legged babies. They're just as much family as our two-legged ones.
Mhm.
So when something goes missing from our life, that there's grief. And to go through that and heal it is really important, however long it takes. And there's, of course, the stages of grief. So it isn't a matter of time, but it's a matter of honesty and authenticity and you being good at the end of the day, that you are worthy of healing.
Wow. So what is the grief you experienced? Was it many times by now in life? Was it many times? Right.
Oh, right. Well, much like we brought up a little earlier,
Yeah.
the abortion component, family members, animals,
Yeah.
jobs,
Mm.
sexual assault. Um,
Mhm.
so there's a lot. It,
Yes.
we all, stuff happens to us. And now it's liberating to be able to admit honestly, it's something that happened and I don't need to be stuck there. I don't need to
Mhm.
carry that past forward into my present and
Mhm.
have it limit my experience now,
Mhm.
right? And there's also a thought or belief, every day we are reborn. So that means we had
Mhm.
a personal death to ourselves, right?
Yes.
And when we really connect into that, biologically or physiologically, our cells are regenerating all the time
Mhm.
until they're not, right? And then we
Yeah.
transition on. But as long as we are here present, Prativa, we are regenerating all the time. So there's always a cycle of creation and death,
Wow.
right? It's something that is so organic and emotionally, mentally, physically, to embrace the process of grieving to become whole
Wow.
in our thoughts again, because we're always whole,
Mhm.
right? It, I think it's just important.
So do you believe that we're never broken, even when we're going through those hard times like sexual assault, abortion, maybe someone who's really going through it? It's just that we need to learn how to grieve through that time, but we're not broken.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I firmly in my soul believe we are always whole.
Mhm.
We're just having experiences that help to remind us that we are whole.
Mhm.
However, there's just experiences that totally blow and
Yeah.
totally suck and they hurt.
Mhm.
And we need to honor that,
Wow.
you know, and know through as we're going through the shit that we are whole.
I love you for saying that. Because you know what? Remember how Les said you're either leaving a problem going into one, or heading towards one, or just the fact that, I know I follow Sadhguru's teachings. If you know of Sadhguru, do you know of
Yeah,
him? The gentleman with the beard, the yogi. He always says how, like, it's like, if you don't want problems, then die. Like, it's like, if you don't, not in a way, not, stating like commit suicide, but he's saying like, death is the only way you won't have problems.
Exactly.
If you're human, you're gonna have these human experiences. Like you said, some are gonna really blow. Like, it's never great for anybody that I know, you know?
Well, no, they're not. And the reason for community, courage, hope, inspiration
Mhm.
is, hey, when you're going through stuff, you know you've got a safe, sacred place to be
Mm.
without judgment, right? We don't need to be judged for what we're going through. We
No.
just want support and love and
Yes.
compassion and gentleness
Yes.
with honesty, right? Because when you can bring that into a conversation in community, then people become elevated, uplifted.
Yeah.
When you realize that you're actually whole to begin with and not
Mhm.
broken,
Yeah.
and you can actually embrace that, it's liberating. And
Mhm.
you're not like a prisoner to the misery.
Mhm. And I like what you said there, regarding that we just need support, because whenever I make a post, I know prior times I've had a few people stating opinions, and people who know me and know our community is a safe space. We're not here for opinions. When someone's stating something, you just listen and have give support, but you don't share your own bias. You know, I'm really strong in that, because when someone's just sharing, listen, not to say what you want to say, just hear the person out and support them. Like, thank you for sharing that with me. How can I help you further? Something like that, not where you're stating your opinions, talking about your story. It's not about you.
Oh, amen for that.
Yeah.
Because it's not.
It's not about you. Yeah.
Yeah, you're cordially invited to keep your opinion to yourself.
I don't, yeah, I don't do opinions. I don't. If only everyone was aligned spiritually and learned the value of that and understood what that really means, instead of just, there was a saying, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but there's a saying where people who talk a lot, it's like they're less intelligent. Like, people who have a lot to say, like a lot of talking, talking, talking. Then you have someone who's like more quieter, just observes and says maybe a few words. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's like people who have too much to say. It's like you need to focus on you and not more so other people's business. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, as I recognize that,
Mhm.
and I've had personal experiences in relationships with
Mhm.
individuals that just couldn't keep their mouth shut.
Mhm.
And when I do reflect on that,
Mm.
there's a component from the way I perceive it is maybe they are just so insecure
Mm.
and
Mhm.
afraid, some component of fear that has them, in constant
Yes.
yak mode. I don't know. It,
Yes.
I
Yes. They want attention and to be heard. And I'm not saying this to talk about other people. I'm just saying in general that, um, you know, support is like the key point. People like the approach and communication to learn those skills. Like, I studied communication for undergrad to learn how to approach someone, learn what is appropriate, what's not appropriate, behavior, things of that nature. A lot of people aren't taught that. Yeah.
no, they're not, and it's just one of my innate pieces where, from the study of sociology and human behavior,
I like that. Yeah.
there's I can, like, sit back and contemplate. I wonder.
Mm.
Yet, then it's sincerely, that's theirs. Whatever that is, that's theirs.
Yeah.
And And for me,
Mm.
disengage unless someone is asking for help, right?
Yes, you don't interfere unless someone is asking, you don't state your opinion. "Hey, what are your thoughts?" Then you can share. Like, or with all due respect, "Hey, I have something to say. May I share it with you?" You don't just dive in there. You have to ask for permission. That's boundaries.
Oh, that is so beautiful. I'm really grateful you brought that up. It's a
Yeah, you have to
healthy,
ask. Yeah.
and it's
You're
so
so
simple,
happy.
right?
What did you say?
I said it's so simple
Yeah,
to ask.
to ask. You have to ask. You don't just go talking. But I love it. I do want to ask you, how are you this person? As in, what made were you always since a child like this humble, this loving, caring, or like did life make you this way?
That's a
Yeah, like as understanding as you are, like, your energy, like, is that through your experiences, or were you always just, you also an authentic, genuine person, like just from birth?
well, it's actually a combination of both.
Mm,
And when I've gone through the shadow side of this life
mm-hmm,
because of fear,
mm,
so in shadow you're closed up and you hide. It's like,
yes.
I put the blanket over me and no one needs to look at me or see me or engage with
Wow.
me. And innately, it's always been, this is who I am. It's why
Wow.
I wanted to take the shroud off. And
Wow. That's so beautiful. I understand what you're saying. I mean, even though I'm younger, I'm 28, but I suffered with my mental health for 12 years, suicide and all of that. So I understand I didn't want anyone to see me or touch me because of the abuse. I used to wear a lot of clothing, cover myself up. No one can see, me. It's so different now. Are you okay?
yes,
Yeah. But I understand what you're saying. And I couldn't imagine living the rest of my life, or you were living the rest of your life how we had. You understand? It's like it would be never ending suffering. And who wants to live in suffering?
exactly.
Yeah.
And we get to make that choice,
Mm,
right? Honestly, there's a component to, we have the free will to choose.
mm,
Do I want to continue in misery and suffering, or do I want to take that journey into healing and becoming me and knowing it,
mm,
it's gorgeous how authentic and beautiful you you're just not apologetic for being you, right? It's like,
yeah.
hey, this is Prativa, and
Mhm.
huge life,
Yeah.
big, it's gorgeous, and there's no apology for, and there's no need to be apologetic for it,
Mm-mm.
right?
No.
It's go get it.
Wow. This is so nice talking to you. It's a beautiful conversation. Would you like to share anything else?
Wow, I it has been. I love the free flow.
Yeah.
It's so gorgeous, and I just think it's important for each and every person who feels that I want to become part of a supportive community.
Mm,
Take action and do it.
mhm,
Don't positive, pardon me, I don't want people to positively think themselves into taking action. You
mm,
just take the action because it's scary.
mm,
It's initially like you're taking a big step off a cliff, right?
mm.
but you're really not. You're just taking one step into becoming authentically you in
Wow.
a supportive community. They're just waiting for you. So go seek that out and ask, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ask. Ask for the support. Ask for what you want or need.
Mm-hmm. I like that. And most times we may not even know what we need. We don't get what we want, but we get what we need, they say. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can get what you want. It's possible
Mm-hmm.
to borrow from Les Brown.
Uh,
It is possible.
wow. Wow. Have you been a fan of his for years? Long time fan.
Since the 90s.
Wow. I was born then.
So my daughter too, she was born in 91,
Wow.
and it was at which there was a network marketing convention,
Mm-hmm.
and Les was live. I think it was in Chicago. It was either in Chicago or Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
And then his tapes were part of the Nightingale component that I got every month
Wow.
to listen to.
Wow.
So yes, so
Wow.
back in the 90s, Les was getting it on,
Wow.
making it happen, and having a huge impact. And
Wow.
yeah, at that point he was still married to Gladys Knight.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
It is.
Amazing.
And we evolve, we grow.
Mm-hmm.
So I just love having these kinds of conversations.
Mm-hmm. I like your spirit. Like you're youthful, It's like you're just living. Like you're really living. You remind me of Joanna. You know Joanna Clyer?
Oh, she's awesome.
You both remind me of one another now. Wow. I wish you, not even wish you luck, but I know that Lighthouse, will do great things. 'Cause I like the house components of, this, that, and the third. Like I like those pillars. I think that's nice.
Good.
To call it a house.
I appreciate that feedback, and I did come up with the design for our logo.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the tree of life.
Oh
with
yeah.
the house in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
That was inspiring.
I like that. I actually have the tree of life quote tattooed on my ribs. Yeah. From Proverbs 11:30, I do. And I do have another friend. I'm not sure if it's a tree of life, but I know her logo is going to be a tree as well. It's so interesting how, we are so much like nature, It's important.
Oh my goodness. And to honor Mother Earth for when she's healthy, we get to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Is my way of looking at it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time today.
Hey, thank you. This has been fantastic. Let's do it again.
Okay. You should do more. You should just start going live on your own too, on your page.
Absolutely.
You think you could go live after this on your page and just talk? Like, will you do it if you have energy now?
Well, I do have the energy now. I have to get actually ready for a different meeting.
Oh, okay.
So it will stop the flow of this, go to a different meeting, and then.
I look forward to seeing more of your face on Facebook Live. That'd be nice.
I really appreciate that. It's time again, right? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a beautiful conversation. Namaste.
Bye.